Good evening, everyone. This is Beth Brownell talking, and I'm sorry for the low voice. We've had a big development with the Josh Duggar case. If you haven't heard, he has been charged with receiving and downloading CP, child porn, for clarifications. And the Duggar family has been their first appearance on TV was a special from the Discovery Channel called 14 Children and Pregnant Again. This was when their 15th child was born, Jackson. Josh Duggar is their firstborn son. And if you heard about what actually took down 19 kids and counting, was because of the scandal that Josh Duggar had molested his sisters and a babysitter, a neighbor's kid, who then became their babysitter. The Duggar clan is, you probably can Google them, but the thing is that the Duggars, their eldest children is assigned one of the younger children to parent, to buddy up, which I find to be very wrong, because the parents are the ones who should be parenting the children, not their own children parenting their fellow siblings. But that's either here or there. But the thing is, all of these kids are homeschooled. They don't go to regular schools. No elementary, no middle school, no junior high or high school or college. They're homeschooled. And even though that keeps them at home and they do their studies at home, they are not socially, they don't have outside friends. They don't have access to the internet like we do, until they leave the nest and they move into their own homes, have their own families, and then they start getting themselves with TVs and computers, internets. And Josh Duggar, when he molested his sisters and the neighbor kid, Jim Bob, didn't report it to the police so his son could be formally charged and have to experience juvenile hall and juvie and get the help he needed that moment. They sent him off to a Bible school where their friends would teach him that, it's the girl's fault that forced you to molest them. You did no wrong. And if you've seen Josh Duggar's 2 mugshots, the first mugshot, he's like, he has a smirk on his face saying, "Oh, you caught me. It ain't gonna stick. It's not gonna stick. I'm gonna get off of it." And then his second one was like, oh shit. Yeah, he realized after he was convicted of all of the crimes he did, of the 2 crimes that they charged him with, he basically was like, I'm screwed. Because now he's looking at possible 20 years in jail. And when he gets into jail, he's not gonna be a very popular guy in there. He might be with the ones who want to beat the living daylights out of him. And for one thing, he will be beaten up. They will find him. Even if they isolate him from everyone, they will find him and they'll attack him. They'll give him prison justice. And I mean prison justice in the ways you would think that would be probably he finding out the hard way of how it is to be on the other end of receiving the other end of what all these CPs have been done to them. Well, he's going to find the hard way. The prisoners do not like pedophiles or child abusers. They will take action. They will give him prison justice. They will beat him to the inch of his life if they get a hold of him. And in federal prison, I think they will probably have him in solitary confinement, and he'll be out for only 1 hour a day, and he will find himself, well, he won't like what he's going to be contending with. People will say, oh, Beth, you don't understand. You don't know what he's going to contend with. I know what prison is like, because my younger brother David, you may not know of this, but my younger brother David was a crackhead. He spent 6 months in solitary confinement. He was only allowed to go out of his room for 1 hour to get a shower and to walk around the yard, and then he was back into his cell. We spent 5 months trying to find a way of getting him out of there for a charge that was falsified by one of the police officers in the prison. And the reason why, David didn't want to talk with the police officer who was trying to get him to give him the can pipe. David just pushed right past him, and the police officer charged him with attacking him. And since there was no video cameras in any of the cells, well, it was the police officer's word against my brother's. So my brother ended up getting transferred to maximum security prison, and put into isolation, into solitary confinement for 6 months. My dad and my mom and I went to the general attorney of Missouri, and we told him what went down, and he's like, your son shouldn't have been in that room in solitary for 6 months. I'm getting him out right now. And he made the call right then and there. And we heard the conversation because the general attorney put it on speakerphone for us. We heard everything. And the warden in the prison that my younger brother was in basically said, well, I believe the cop over the person, so blah 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 blah. I don't even remember David's person number. And the general attorney said, don't you think 6 months is a little harsh for someone to be in solitary for that long? For something that is so minor of that the kid was trying to get away from an aggressive police officer? And we had spoken to the general attorney the day before. I think about a week before we came to see what we could do to get David out of solitary. The general attorney had already spoken with the police officer in question, and the police officer had said, well, I didn't want to charge him, but the warden didn't like the fact that David had pushed past me and didn't want to just talk to me. So the warden was the one who actually ordered David to be put into solitary for the next 6 months. It wasn't the police officer at all. It was strictly the warden of that prison that David was originally in. Well, David ended up getting into a halfway house in Columbia, Missouri, where he got himself jobs and got himself back to where he could come home in February of 1999. Now, back to Josh Duggar. The sentence that he's going to get, most likely, is between 5 years and 20 years in federal prison. I'm seriously hoping that he gets 20 years in prison, because by the time he gets in there, Anna Duggar, his wife, who I believe is so brainwashed in their church teachings. And here's the thing, the founder of their church is did the exact same thing that Josh Duggar did. He received child P. Yeah. And he's in prison right now. I believe for 15 to 30 years. I'm not exactly sure, but you guys can search for it. But the thing is, Anna Duggar should be filing for divorce against this man, against Josh, right now, and moving away from all the Duggars, and requesting and basically getting Josh Duggar's parental rights removed. But the thing is, he will have to pay her alimony and child support, because Anna Duggar has no skills whatsoever to be a working mother, to feed 7 kids. She has 7 kids with this man. And I seriously believe that CPS should be looking into their kids, because if Josh Duggar molested his sisters, what could be of what did he do to his own kids? That's the thing. His own kids could be his victims too. And they need to look into his kids And I hope his wife, when he's when his sentence is put down, that she gets away from the Duggars, files for divorce, gets full custody of the kids, and leave the area. Get into another location where only her family knows. She would probably have to change her name, do everything in her power to get a new life, get to where she has. I think she may have to go back to school to get her GED, or find a way of getting a job that she can actually do, that allows her to have child support, child care for her kids while she's at work, and stuff like that. But the thing is, Josh Duggar needs to be in jail for 20 years, 20 plus years. And he needs to be a registered sex offender. He cannot have unsupervised visitations with his kids. He needs to be supervised with them. Everything. He cannot be near kids, period. And he shouldn't have a computer at all. Even a cell phone. He shouldn't even have. And he seriously needs a lot of help. He needs to have a therapist work with him from the moment he gets into prison to the moment he leaves prison. Because this is something deep. This is something that may have go back to Jim Bob. Oh my gosh. I just realized something. What if Jim Bob molested Josh? Oh boy. Which means, because from what I heard on the testimony, that Jim Bob had no memory of Josh molesting his own siblings. What if Jim Bob knew that Josh was molesting his siblings because he molested Josh? Now that makes me really disgusted of the Duggars. And the thing was, when the Duggars first came on TV, I saw them on the Today Show. They were, I think they were 13, and they had 13 kids. They were expecting their 14th one. And the way that they lived in a small house with all the kids, and they were moving to another house, and that they were very biblical, very religious. They didn't watch TV. They had no idea what was going on on TV or anything. They, I believe the anchors back then were I don't even remember who were anchors back in the early, when they were 14 kids. But they actually were shown all the things that happened during the time that they had no TV, and Michelle and Jim Bob were like totally shocked about everything. And the one thing that they did, I think they had remarked about Princess Diana's wedding was that she looks beautiful. And that wedding was spectacular. And, but, back to Josh's molestation, his case that ended today with two guilty verdicts. His sentencing is probably within a month from now, and he could get a 5 years prison sentence. That's 5 years in prison, federal prison. But I want him to be in there for 20 years. And therapy every day, where he has to confront his own demons, because he does have demons that he has to confront. Once he confronts his demons, he can move forward, and realize what he had done wrong, admit what he did wrong was wrong, and make a resolution not to do it again. And not have based in biblical teachings, because that's what they did with him when they found out he had molested his siblings and the babysitter. That didn't work. That he should have been arrested and charged right then and there. But Jim Bob didn't want to damage their TV's production with throwing his son into jail. So he sent his son away, claiming, oh, he's off on a summer Bible camp, when it was actually dealing with his molestation of his siblings. But that's either here and there. But now Josh will have to confront his demons of his family, of his past, while he's in jail. And I hope he realizes what he has done and admits it to himself and says, I'm going to do better by not doing this. I'm going to try to help people who, the pedophiles in jail, to reform. Get out of that mindset of, that's a beautiful child. I want to do them. Ugh. Well, I hope he finds resolution in prison, and the other prisoners do not give him prison justice, which they might do. We may end up hearing, maybe about 3-4 months into his prison sentence in the federal prison, that Josh Duggar was beaten to death, which is most likely will happen, or that he hangs himself out of shame. But who knows what will happen. It's all up to him now. And may God forgive him for what he has done. People say, don't say that about him. He's a demon. He has a demon in him. And, well, the thing is, only God can help him now. It's in God's hands. And I'm giving it to him. God will take care of Josh in his own way. And Josh will have to face his demons and have to face himself. But that's everything on Josh Duggar. Guilty of 2 counts of receiving and downloading child CP. And his sentencing is probably in about a month. So hopefully we will be hearing what his sentence will be by then. And hopefully his family will reconsider their mindset on how they handle their children, especially his sisters who needs therapy, because they need it. They need to be they need validation that they are important. They're not, oh, you need to pray to understand why their brother molested them. They didn't do anything wrong. How could a 5-year-old cause a 14-year-old boy to molest them? Josh Duggar is a very sick young man, and he needs therapy help. Will he get it? I hope so, because he needs it. Anyway, I'm going to end this and put it out. I hope God helps Josh heal himself from his demons, because he needs to face his own demons for everything that he has done to all of the kids that he damaged. Peace.